Recently, I embarked on a journey through the city centre on paddles, stand-up paddling to be precise, and I started my journey at Chapel Izzard. It's a bright sunny day in Dublin, the perfect conditions to try something new. We've come to a spot on the riverbank between Chapel Izzard and Island Bridge with Chris Goodbody, our guide for our paddle down the river.
Okay, welcome to the River Liffey. The plan is we're going to start paddleboarding from here, just this spot, and we're going to take the river all the way east, right the way down towards the sea. What we're going to do is we're going to use the ebbing tide, which is currently going out. We're going to use that to drag us down the Liffey. And it's going to be class.
We're on the water straight away, kneeling and paddling at first until we're confident enough to stand up.
And turn your paddle around so that, as in, shimmy it like this, Yeah, perfect, like that's it. Perfect. Yeah, so we've probably got about 15 minutes paddling before we hit the weir. With that.
Then we start our journey.
Well, if everybody's ready, we're going to head off towards Riggs End. We got 8k to cover and a bit of a following wind coming from the west behind us, and obviously the sun's splitting the stone, so follow me.
We follow the course of the river as it flows past Island Bridge. The pace of paddling is slow and restful, the Liffey itself carrying us along. We're in the city, but it certainly doesn't feel like it.
For me, the nice part of the journey is that middle ground, that weird little no man's land of foliage and wildlife and really nice little houses backing onto the river, and the weirs rushing in the background, and it feels like you could be a million miles from a city, but you're right there in Dublin.
With Heuston Station on our right, we're coming up to the Sean Heuston Bridge. It's one of the 19 bridges that we pass on this Liffey journey. And like many of the older bridges in the capital, it's been renamed in honour of patriots or historic figures. I'm also getting the hang of the paddling, and I'm beginning to properly appreciate this novel perspective on familiar Dublin landmarks.
I think one of the most exciting things you can do is see somewhere you know so well from a totally different viewpoint.
And that's just how I'm feeling as we paddle next under the distinctive blue and white Rory O'More Bridge. We're continuing to make steady progress upriver, getting closer to the city centre all the time. What's the water quality like in the Liffey?
Well, the water quality in the Liffey is actually grand because the Liffey is actually tidal. So it'll get every 6 hours, it'll get dragged out, and every 6 hours it'll come back in. So pretty much empties into the sea and refills. The bottom of the river might be a bit grimy, a bit like a few bits of debris, but the actual water quality is grand.
And people on dry land are finally starting to notice us. Then we come to probably Dublin's most famous bridge, the Halfpenny Bridge. For 184 years, the only pedestrian bridge in the city. Today, tourists and Dubliners alike are perhaps unaware that at one time a person had to pay a halfpenny to use this bridge, linking Merchant's Arch to Liffey Street. Coming up to O'Connell Bridge, we have our first taste of river traffic. It's the sightseeing cruiser travelling in the opposite direction, and the waves briefly destabilise me. Our GoPro camera comes a cropper, but luckily I managed to avoid taking a drink of river water. Soon I'm back paddling, and it's out to the wider part of the Liffey, where the sea meets the river. Historic Dublin is giving way to the modernity of the Docklands, but there are still reminders of our past to observe, such as the permanently moored Jeanie Johnston famine ship. Passing under the graceful Samuel Beckett Bridge, we're oblivious to the noise of the cars and trucks passing overhead. This really is the way to see the city. There's a lot of construction underway here on both sides of the Liffey, but our journey is coming to an end as we approach a little-used slipway close to the mouth of the river. Well, it was absolutely fabulous. I have to say that I have got from one end of the Liffey to the other dry. A couple of wobbly moments, but it's been absolutely fantastic. It is an amazing way to see the city, to see a city starting, to go to work, and there we're as a small group just paddling through on this little river of tranquility. Didn't think too much about the water quality. Luckily, I didn't have to test the the drinkability of it, let's put it that way. It is a unique way to see our capital city. Our River Liffey as an amenity really is underused, and it's a wonderful resource.